All right, everyone. Welcome to another episode of The Girl Who Talks Sports, a podcast where we talk sports and other girly things. I am Sam Cardona, and this week I am joined by, once again, my life-saving podcast friend, Andy Hopper of the Brew Party podcast. This is now the second time that you have come on my show after a guest has not worked out for me this week. So, Andy, thank you so much for being on the show this week.
Listen, Sam, anytime you need me, you just let me know. I am your man on the bench. So, I'm okay playing left bench. And, sometimes you get called up, sometimes you don't. But I'm super, super happy to be here. Glad I could fill in for you. Really excited to be back. Had to rock my merch, of course, on the show. But
Love it.
So I'll just be known as your backup guest whenever you need one.
I appreciate it. And we have a bunch of stuff to talk about today. But it's Brew. Brew wants to come on the podcast too.
Yeah, here, let me let him out of this room really quick. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. So I'll just do our quick little, or what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about Harlem Globetrotters. We're going to be talking about the MLB. We're going to be talking about some crazy things going on in the world right now. And get into a little bit of a debate later on about chips. So that should be really fun. And I'm really excited to get into this week's episode with our friend here. So we are going to jump right into it. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right. So the first thing that we're going to talk about today is actually something that you had sent in our group chat, in our Best Sports Pod group chat. Basically, what's going on is the Harlem Globetrotters want basically a piece in the NBA. They want to be considered this real basketball team as opposed to more of like a trick basketball team, which, to be honest, they're so incredibly talented. Like, it makes a lot of sense. But they put out an official statement on the NBA, and basically they want a piece. And it's, I think, something that is definitely worth thinking about. So, Andy, what were your first thoughts on when you saw this statement come out?
Another one of those sports statements from this week. It seems like there's so many. Yeah. Just came out of left field. It's like, oh shit, okay, the Globetrotters want to be in the NBA now. Yeah. I mean, this has some historical significance because you have to jump way back to when the NBA was being started. The Harlem Globetrotters were already around. They were a traveling basketball team that, they actually played basketball, like exhibition games against other teams before it turned into, the tricks and the real show that it is now. And they helped attract a lot of Black players, African-American players, to the NBA. They helped kind of form the NBA, and now they feel like it's time for their seat at the table, which, I mean, it'd be awesome. That color scheme, the shorts, the red, white, and blue,
be pretty cool.
Would be fucking awesome in the NBA. My concern with it is, do you build them a brand new stadium in Harlem? Do you really want to put another team in New York? I think the NBA, if they're looking at expanding, they'd like to go to a city where they haven't been yet, or a city like Seattle that's really been craving an NBA franchise for years since the Sonics left. So my first thoughts were this would be awesome. Second was okay, how would it work? Obviously they have a roster right now. Those are all people normally they recruit people that played college basketball, former professional athletes, said that obviously everybody that is currently a part of the Globetrotters, like you said earlier, is super, super talented. But are they NBA basketball players? I don't know about that. So there would have to be probably an expansion draft. They'd probably have to form a new roster. I'd be really curious just to see the logistics of it and how it would work. But I think, it would be cool to see the NBA be fuck it, Harlem Globetrotters, you're in.
Right. And I mean, like you said, my first thought was, how many New York teams can we have? We have, between baseball, football, hockey, we have two of every team. And now we have Brooklyn Nets and we have the New York Knicks. So now we're going to add a third basketball team to New York, which, to be fair, we could, kind of cheat the system and put them in Jersey, because that's what we did with the Giants and the Jets. But I think that it's getting a little crowded, and it's kind of hard to do that. But, like you said, is it worth bringing these players in, are they going to be able to play at the same level as these other guys? Or is it going to be almost like an unfair advantage because yes, they are very talented, but at an NBA level, I'm not entirely sure. I feel like they'd have to almost like hold a tryout in a way. Like I feel like that would be like a way to do it, like to see like, hey, this is the level that you have to play at. Like, let's see if you can play at that level.
Right.
Otherwise, I can't. I don't really know what else they would do. You know?
Yeah. So they're like classic like NBA basketball players that were once Harlem Globetrotters. Wilt Chamberlain once played for the Harlem Globetrotters. In the late 40s, the Globetrotters beat the Lakers in back-to-back years. They won the World Basketball Championship in hold on, I have it right here, in 1940 over the Chicago Bruins, the powerhouse Chicago Bruins. So for this to work, the NBA would have to approve the expansion, which is already being kind of talked about, and then would obviously have to select Harlem over other potential sites. Like, I'm trying to think of what's been thrown out here. I feel like maybe, obviously, Seattle. I think San Diego has been a city that's kind of been thrown around. Maybe Nashville or like Louisville.
Places with actual space.
Right. I could see like a team going to Austin, Texas, maybe. I know there are already 2 Texas teams, but Austin is such a booming and growing market right now. It might be a perfect spot for it. But yeah, I think there would just have to be a lot of moving pieces that would have to work together. Don't get me wrong. I love the Globetrotters. I used to go every year they were in town as a kid. They were one of my favorite things to go. You'd go get the big ass fucking like the well, maybe it was the circus that I'm thinking of. It was like no, but it was like the slushies are like the why can't it's like a slushie or like a snow cone, but it's in like the clown mug, but it's like red, white, and blue. I think they had them at fucking Globetrotters games too. Whatever, you could probably get a fucking snow cone there. Either way, it would be cool. But I think like a lot of things would have to happen. And I don't know if Adam Silver, the commissioner of the NBA, is necessarily looking at Harlem as his first option for a new NBA team, as cool as it would be. And also it's like you mentioned, like they have a full roster of guys that are, traveling around with them around the country, around the world to do shows. What happens to them? Like, do they completely just stop doing that aspect of it? Do they keep that side and then have, an actual basketball team? But if anything were to happen, if any new team gets added to the NBA, they do an expansion draft. So all current teams in the NBA, they would be allowed to protect, I think it's 8 players. And then the rest, I think it's the 4, or I think you can have up to 15 on an NBA roster. So 7 of the 8 would technically be available or free to be drafted by the Globetrotters or whoever this new team would be. And that's how they would fill out their roster. So they probably wouldn't be very good for a while, but that's any new franchise in any sport. You have to build yourself up, but it would get people talking and it will get people going. Or what if they even kept the whole aspect that they're just a traveling team? They don't even have a home arena. I don't know.
That would be kind of cool.
I don't know how that would work, or if you could get your like NBA players to buy into being on the road for 82 games a year. But you never know. I thought that tweet was interesting, but I mean, good for them though, for trying to get some pub and insert themselves in the conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's kind of like the world is the NBA's oyster at this point. I feel like anything is possible, but definitely off of all the other cities that you had said, like there is more than enough space in almost all of those places to build, a stadium or have a place for these guys to go. Harlem does not really fit that. There's just no space here. There's no space in New York City for that. Even on Staten Island, where it's like suburban, we don't have space for any of that kind of stuff. So it's tough, but I'm interested to see how this is going to unfold. It's going to be interesting. And is this expansion like definitely going to happen, or is this just something that they're talking about?
Nothing's approved, but you'd like to think in the next few years there will be at least 1 or 2 new NBA teams. I don't know. When I say few, I don't want to put an exact number on it because they've been talking about it for quite a long time. It's just a matter of people who got the big bucks, are they ready to shell out their cash? And then, because it's expensive, because you have to I think there's like a fee to like buy into the league. Plus, you got to secure an arena. You got to have a contract with whatever city you're going to. And I think what the NBA is going or trying to go towards, they're trying to go to markets where they're not really at yet, or there's a city with, I think less than 2 professional teams already. So where they can kind of go in and just completely dominate the market.
Yeah, no, and New York City does not need another basketball team right now.
Right.
Especially with the Nets, because now everybody's a Nets fan here.
I mean, even the Knicks
that's true.
Had the city freaking buzzing this year. So Madison Square, I mean, I don't live there, but Madison Square Garden, every time I watch a Knicks game, especially in the playoffs, like when they finally let people in, was fucking insane. And they won 1 game in that series, and it was still insane the whole time. So, I mean, Paul Lombardi, our friend from Review and Preview Sports, always he told me New York is a Knicks town, no matter who's on the Brooklyn Nets. So it's just interesting, like how deep those colors run in New York, because I mean, you think about it, New Jersey, the Nets were in New Jersey for a while, and then so a lot of their fans are still in New Jersey, and then Brooklyn is Brooklyn, like hipster as fuck, and you never know what
now it is.
Now it is, right? And they couldn't even sell out all of their tickets with limited capacity in the playoffs. They were trying to give away tickets for free, the Nets were. So it's like, yeah, they're awesome, but they're still struggling to get people to care. Maybe next season, full strength, they're back in a non-COVID world. That's different. But New York basketball is back. That's what we'll say. And I think you're right. There isn't space, or would there really even be a fan base there for them to kind of draw? I don't know.
People would go to games, but I don't think it would I don't think it would sell out the way that the Knicks would. The Knicks have been in here for forever, and the Nets, I mean, people are only kind of jumping on the bandwagon for the Nets because of all of the people that are on the team. Like my brother bought a Kevin Durant shirt. He would have never bought a Kevin Durant shirt. There just happen to be Brooklyn Nets, and Brooklyn's a cool place. So but
let me throw this scenario at you. What if they did a whole Clippers-Lakers situation and they somehow figured out a deal to share the Garden with the Knicks?
That, I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility, because I mean, as a Giants fan, the Jets share MetLife Stadium, and that's totally possible. Mm-hmm. So the thing is, the thing is though, Madison Square Garden is not MetLife Stadium. Madison Square Garden is so much more than just a basketball stadium. So it's I guess you'd have to figure scheduling out, because you can have a basketball game there one day, the next day, freaking Harry Styles is playing there, a concert. So it's
or hockey. I mean, it's the most famous arena in the world. It's Madison Square Garden. So I don't know. That was just something that kind of came to mind.
It could happen. I just don't see it happening, especially for a new team.
I just don't. I don't see it happening. I think if I had to pick, or if I had to guess what the next city to get an NBA franchise would be, it would either Seattle or Las Vegas.
Yeah, I could see Vegas, mostly just because they're just between the Golden Knights and the Raiders.
I guess that does go against what I said, saying Vegas, they don't want a city with multiple professional teams already, but the market of Vegas that they could get into, though, it would be with sports betting and all of that stuff too.
Right.
I think that would be one where they would make an exception.
To that, for 100%, especially just because of the sports betting just basically taking over everywhere. So I could definitely see that happening. But besides the point, this is an interesting story. I'm interested to see what ends up happening from it. But I think that we're both kind of on the same page here, that it's more likely than not going to happen. I don't know how to speak, but anyway.
Just waiting for the statement from the Washington Generals saying, if the Globetrotters get in, we want in too. They make them a package deal.
I mean, why not? Just toss everybody in.
You can't only bring in one team. It's got to be two, right? You got to make it even. But then there's the problem. they'd both be Eastern Conference teams. So how do you shake that up? Does somebody have to move over to the West? So I don't know, man. Expansion is interesting. It's going to be, I think it happens within the next 5 years, or if there's not a new team, there'll be a team announced, like maybe not playing within the next 5 years, but you know what I'm saying.
I'm literally on the edge of my seat waiting for this. As I want to hear about this as much as I want to hear about what Washington football team's name is going to be. It's going to be a fun off season. All right, let's move on to our next thing. And we're doing segments in this situation right now because we're just going for it all. So we're going to do our tea time segment next. We're going to get into the hot steamy gossip of the sports world. And this week we are getting into the MLB because the MLB is exploding right now with people pulling their pants down in the middle of the field. It's fantastic. I love every minute of it. So if you guys don't know, foreign substance searches are now a thing in the MLB. Pitchers are basically pulled over to the side of the field. They have to get checked for the spider tack or any sticky substances on their hats, on their gloves, and on their belts. And it has been just taking over, everything. Social media is blowing up about it because they're just posting videos left and right. Who was the guy that pulled his pants down yesterday?
That was Sergio Romo, a reliever for the A's. So this started on Monday, these inspections by the umpires. It is Wednesday when we're recording this, and the pitchers are already fucking done. And that is exactly what they need to do. They need to keep making a mockery of this because that's what it is. It is an absolute joke by the MLB, in my opinion, an overcorrection, something that didn't need to be done 2 months into the year. If you're going to make this rule, give the pitchers some time to adjust. We've already seen a guy like Tyler Glass, now an absolute ace for the Rays, is hurt and on the DL.
Is that Brew?
No, it's my son.
Oh. He wants to come in.
Yeah, I know. He wants to join the show, I guess. But so he's already hurt, and he said it was directly affected by not using any of these foreign substances. And by foreign substances, he said sunscreen. A lot of these guys are using sunscreen and pine tar, and they're kind of confused that it's being lumped in with the super sticky, icky stuff. The spider tack, the spider tack, like you mentioned, or some like palm grip or something like that. So when Glass now basically said when he got word of this was going to be happening, his last 2 starts, he started not using any sunscreen, throwing with just raw dogging it. So he had to change up some of his grips. So like he had to dig in harder with his fastball. With his curveball, normally holds it, like throws it with his fingertips. He had to, and I quote from Tyler Glass now, "I'm choking the shit out of my pitches." That is what he said. So, and he already has a really like herky jerky motion. And pitching is already hard on your arm. These guys are throwing fucking 95 plus mile an hour, sometimes more than 100 times a game. So who knows if it was just the throwing motion and overworking it. He had 2 starts without using sunscreen. Now he's on the DL with a UCL strain and like a flexor something or other. Pitchers aren't happy. Garrett Cole from the Yankees gave a really bad answer when somebody asked him if he had ever used it. He was like kind of paused and he was like, well, I can't really give you an answer to that. I can't really say yes or no. And then he's like, there are certain things that have been passed down in baseball from older generations to us now. And then it's just like, just say no. Just say no. You don't have to say yes. And here's the thing. Even if they are using it, I would say 75% or more of these pitchers are fucking doing it anyways.
Yes. They've been, and like our friend Garrett has said, they've been doing it forever. Mm-hmm. But I think that it's just so funny, the fact that these guys, I was reading this article that said the MLB said that the umpires serve as, quote, uniform standard for the consistent application of the rules, including regular checks of all pitchers, regardless of whether an opposing club's manager makes a request, end quote. So a lot of words there just to say you have to take your cap off, your belt off, and your glove.
Well, did you see Max Scherzer last night?
Yes, I did.
So pissed. So it's at the umpire's discretion when you can do these checks.
Right.
It'll be between innings or when they're taken out of the game. But the opposing manager can tell the umpire, hey, go look at him. And he has to go do it. Joe Girardi sent the umpire out 3 times in the first 4 innings of the game. Joey. And by the end of it, Scherzer's like, dude, what do you want me to do? You've checked me 2 times already. The 3rd time, he throws his hat off. He throws his belt. He didn't pull his pants down like Sergio Romo, but he got pretty close. And then there's the picture of him just going like this and his face, like, and I think it was the next inning, he struck out JT Realmuto to end the inning, and he just stared at Joe Girardi the entire time. He was walking back to the dugout, like literally. Until just stared at him, didn't say anything. And then as he's about to go back in the dugout, he takes his hat off and he holds up his glove and like he needs another inspection or whatever, but he's just staring at Girardi the whole time. So fucking Girardi's old ass, his old crotchety self, gets out of the dugout and he's basically going, what do you want to do? Let's go. What's up? What's up? Like you see a fucking drunk frat guy at a bar that you accidentally bump into, God forbid, where he goes to play. What's up? We doing this? What's up? And fucking like imagine Joe Girardi fighting Max Scherzer.
No,
like, we all know how that's gonna go. I said this on my podcast. It's that meme that goes, "You're not that guy, pal. You're not that guy. You're not that guy." So that, and then of course Joe Girardi gets tossed for trying to fight Scherzer. So it's just like I can see this happening the whole rest of the year. If a manager is trying to mess with the other pitcher's flow, if they're getting upset that they're actually their team sucks and they can't hit this guy. I was actually talking to one of my regulars at work before I got here, and he's a big Yankees fan. So obviously he knows about Joe Girardi, and he said he watched the post-game interview, and he said he's never seen Girardi sweat like that or wipe his brow or wipe his face. It's like something's going on. Something's not right. This whole, like, why is it 2 months into the year? The article I read said that the MLB wanted to collect data about the sticky stuff or whatever before they made a ruling, and they found that it was way more than they thought it was. Bullshit. Let me tell you my theory here. Strikeout percentages are way up. Batting averages are way down. What was the scandal from last year or 2 years ago? Juiced baseballs. They're hitting more home runs than ever. What gets more eyes on MLB? Probably home runs, probably highlights. The casual fan doesn't really give a fuck about a no-hitter or a pitcher's duel. I think Rob Manfred and the MLB front office got scared and they are trying to overcorrect and trying to get more eyes on the game. And this is the exact opposite way to do it. I think this has a direct effect on, just viewership, and they're trying, with COVID and the revenue. Obviously, I think most of the teams are getting back to full capacity. So the money's not going to be much of an issue going for, I shouldn't say that because a full year of not full revenue, like who knows how long that can affect certain franchises. Sure. But at the same time, it's like there's always something with the baseball. Like Hank and Dichter said it perfectly on my podcast this week. Just use a normal fucking baseball. I'm quoting Hank here. I'm quoting Hank because there have been the allegations of the juice balls, and now this year they're dead. Multiple pitchers from the article I read, they've said the ball is inconsistent. It's never the same. So it's hard for them to get the same grip or be able to throw the same type of pitch, every time. And if everything was uniform and everything was just, a normal fucking baseball and you didn't have to worry about hey, this feels a little weird, or hey, this ball's flying 20 feet farther than it normally does. Like, what's
Right.
up with this? So I don't know. I think Manfred kind of shit his pants when he saw there were 8 no-hitters in the first month and a half of the season. And he's like,
Yeah.
okay, we might have to do something about this. And I mean, I know some hitters are happy, but I think my thing here is like, you have to separate, like, how are you telling these grown men and professional athletes that play, you could say upwards of 50% of their games during the day in the sun, that they're not allowed to wear sunscreen?
Yeah, that's definitely not gonna work.
Right. I mean, obviously they wear pants for the most part, so they're not gonna, like, you're not,
But yeah,
like, your legs are covered, your torso, but I mean,
your
your arms
arms,
and your hands can get burnt, your face
your
can get
face.
burnt. Like, I don't understand how you can tell somebody like,
You can't
hey,
wear
the
sunscreen.
sun, yeah, don't worry about that shit. Like, it's that meme. I said this on my podcast again yesterday. It was like, imagine being tougher than the sun, or thinking
Yeah.
you're tougher than the sun, the fucking sun. Like, come on, dude. Come on.
I
Like,
yeah. It's not it won't work, first of all, because that's a health concern. You can't just tell them they can't wear sunscreen. And in
you're gonna have a
terms of
bunch of dudes walking around with fucking sun. They're gonna get skin cancer.
yeah, exactly.
What is
And like
melanoma? Is that what that is? I don't know.
same thing. But
Right.
yeah, it's you can't do that because of it's a health concern. And in terms of the fact that the manager can just say like, oh, I think that guy's doing it, like there's got to be like a limit. There's got to be like a one, like 3 times in a game, like the way like timeouts are. Like you can't just like go out and say like every time you think that he's got something on him, you can just do that, because like you said, like it's gonna start fights. Someone like Girardi is gonna get hurt because he's an old man. Like it's not gonna work. And it's the whole thing is honestly, I understand the idea of checking because it is a problem, but it's excessive, and it's way too excessive, and it's too crazy. And the fact that it's literally been 3 days, it's been three
Yes.
days, and all of this has gone down. It's the reason why it's called tea time, Andy. It's because there's so much tea. It's so scorching hot.
Well, here's the tea. How long have they been bitching about wanting to speed up the game and worried about how long the game is?
This is
how
making
long
it
a
even
fucking baseball
longer.
game takes. Okay, let's take an extra 5 minutes or 10 minutes, however long it takes in between each inning. I'm sure some of these inspections aren't taking that long, but like, so we have to have the extra innings rule where you automatically get a guy on second base. Or actually I'm not going to talk shit about the 7-inning doubleheaders because I kind of like those. I think that's actually a good idea.
Yeah,
but
it
like
is.
the pace of play and putting a clock potentially on the pitcher, I don't think that has happened yet, but it's not baseball, okay? It's just
Yes.
And another thing I'll bring up here is I love how they're using the umpires to enforce this rule. Like, everybody doesn't fucking love umpires already.
Right, exactly.
And they're like, umpires already come into scrutiny for the strike zone, for now they have the replay review if they think they missed a call out in the field. So I mean, their automated strike zones are potentially coming. I think they are coming to the minor leagues in the near future. So yeah, let's put it on the guys who people already hate, who are going to get shit from fans, managers, coaches, and players anyway, and kind of use this as a smoke screen, or just kind of throw the umpires to the wolves and make it seem like it's them, when really they are just acting, like you said earlier, they are acting as the police almost of this. And
it's literally stop and frisk. It's literally, that's what it is.
And Tim Kirkjian on ESPN brought up a good point today. I saw that he thinks they're going to potentially have to start moving these inspections like into the dugouts or into the clubhouses, like away from the crowd, because he thinks that's adding on to these pitchers just going, fuck this, and throwing it, because who wouldn't if you got the crowd? Like,
yeah.
I know if I go to a Cardinals game and I see this, I am yelling at the umpire every goddamn time.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to be in their heads rent free. But it's and another point I'll bring up. I'm sorry, I just have a lot to say about this, because because we talked about Joe Girardi, kind of he had his vendetta or whatever he was trying to get at Scherzer. What if you have an umpire that's trying to doesn't like a certain pitcher or a certain opposing manager who've, they've been known to butt heads before, they to not like each other. There are a lot of fucking stubborn umpires too. I mean, most of them are older white guys who are set in their ways and have been still think it might be the 1960s when they're playing baseball. So there's just so much to unpack here. I think it was handled incredibly, incredibly poorly and in the worst way possible. I hope this is something that is the short term, or it's kind of like, all right, we'll see how it goes for the rest of the year and then revisit it in the offseason and maybe revise it a little bit. So I'm not condoning anybody cheating. I don't want these guys to, have an unfair advantage, but I just don't see how sunscreen or pine tar, which pine tar is already used on bats and already used in the game already.
Yes.
I don't understand how those can be really deemed as that much of an advantage when grip on the baseball is everything when you're pitching as far as movement and all of that stuff goes. But
it's just, the thing is that like the fact that pine tar is allowed on bats and helmets and things like that to get grip on a bat, I think that that's equal to the amount that you need to get on the grip of a baseball, because God knows if it's raining or if it's drizzling, like these guys are going to lose the ball in their hands. I've played softball in the rain. I've caught wild pitches in the rain. It's horrible. It's terrible. So the pine tar thing, literally in my brain, I'm thinking of Jorge Posada, who is like my favorite Yankee of all time. He was covered in pine tar. Like he would have pine tar like on his hands.
He didn't wear batting gloves. He
was the reason. Actually, he's the reason why I never wore batting gloves when I played softball, because I was like, that's so cool. That's so badass. It's like, I don't need gloves. I can do it. But he literally covered his hands in it. You couldn't even see the Yankee logo on his helmet because it was covered in pine tar with that. So this whole thing has just been, like you said, just handled very poorly. It's not good. What needs to be done is like a beginning of the game kind of thing, like check to make sure. And that's kind of going to be the thing. And throughout the game, if a manager believes that there's something going on, but like, you can't just take every single inning to check a man's hat and belt and glove because you think that he's got sticky tack on his fingers. It's ridiculous. And it is making the games 10 times longer, making stellar social media content. But beside the fact,
keep that up for sure.
Nothing else is coming out of this that is good at all.
Well, I think one of my favorite things is, so they're checking all the pitchers after, except for the closers. They're checking them before, like when they come into the game.
Okay.
Because God forbid you have like a walk-off, or like they come in and they strike out the side, or they have a game-winning strikeout and they're trying to celebrate, but the umpire's got to come out and go, hold on, let me take the hat off, let me check everything. So I will give them credit for trying to avoid any the article I read said awkward walk-off situations.
Yeah.
But it's something's got to change, and I think that starts with Rob Manfred not being fired and being replaced as the commissioner of Major League Baseball.
There you go. You heard it here. Heard it here first.
I'm probably not the first person to say that, but I will take credit for it if you want.
But it's true, and it's ridiculous, and they need to figure it out. Just figure it out, like Barstool Big Cat says. Figure it out. So anyway, that is the tea for this week, because it's just absolutely ridiculous in so many different ways. And we had a lot to say about that. I appreciate all of the facts that you had about that. That was fantastic. Yeah. So next on the list here is a little bit of a weird thing, but I really wanted to talk about it because it's absolutely just crazy, out of this world, if you will, because we're about to go astrological here. So there's been several things that have been happening across the NFL offseason, but in one day, I believe it was Monday or Tuesday. No, it was definitely Monday. Monday, I got 3 different notifications. One of them was Zaven Collins was arrested. And I'm a big Zaven Collins guy. When he got drafted by the Cardinals, I was like, good for him. He's going to be great. I'm so excited blah, blah, blah. So he gets arrested for, okay, I looked up why he was arrested. He was going 76 in a 35. 76 in a 35. Excessive speed and reckless driving at 10 a.m. in the morning, going 76 in a 35. I just blew my mind. So he got arrested. He's out now.
Was he late to OTAs or something?
Who knows where he had to go at 10 a.m. at that speed. But then I get another notification. Frank Clark was also arrested because the police saw a submachine gun in his car, which is out of this world. He's also, I think, out on bonds or whatever. And then I saw a third thing that was Jalen Twyman, who is a rookie on the Vikings, was shot 4 times, will make a full recovery. He got shot in the arm, leg, butt, and shoulder. Absolutely crazy. Before I give my whole spiel on this, Andy, what are your thoughts on all of these things happening like literally in one day?
Shit happens, man. I guess. I don't know what to say. So the Vikings, I'm glad Twyman's gonna be okay. That's nice. He was like going to visit like a family member or something.
Yeah.
From what I read, it was wrong. It was like just a classic case of wrong place, wrong time. So I hope he makes a full recovery, which he's expected to. And actually be able to play in the NFL, resume his career. The Zaven Collins things. I don't know if I'm gonna get some heat for this, but it makes me feel a little bit better that he was speeding and he didn't do anything worse. Like I feel like there's a lot worse things you can get arrested for
sure.
Speeding, not condoning going 40 miles over in a
10 a.m.
That's pretty crazy. I don't know. That could just be a classic case of Young just made a shitload of money this summer.
For sure.
Probably in some super nice sports car. Be like,
yeah,
how fast can I go right now? And
yeah.
there's probably like a certain part of these players where they feel almost untouchable at certain times, right? Just because, I cannot even imagine the adrenaline rush you get from being out on that field every Sunday or being a professional athlete in any sport.
Yeah, you need it.
And I don't know if this sounds kind of dumb, but like the whole like gun thing, it's like every athlete wants to be like a rapper and be like a badass, and every rapper wants to be an athlete. So it's just like a two-way street. So we see this like all the time where guys kind of get caught up with shit that did he need an Uzi in his car?
Apparently it belonged to his bodyguard, but I don't believe that for a second.
I mean, that does sound like a cop out.
He has previous arrests for having loaded firearms in his vehicle. So
see, now we're developing a pattern here, and I don't want to make this an anti-Frank Clark segment, but
no, not at all. Not at all.
Let's just say I'd rather be arrested
for
going 40 over than I would for having a loaded Uzi in my car.
Yes.
So, I mean, you just hope for the best. Hope they everybody kind of figures it out. But I mean, I think it also speaks to like what these guys kind of grew up in, where they come from. When you, I don't want to say when you take football away, but sometimes I don't want, and I also, this sounds kind of bad, when you give people too much time to themselves, maybe they can make some bad decisions. Some people, whether they're professional athletes, millionaires, do need like a sense of direction or somebody like kind of looking out. But maybe the Frank Clark thing could have been the same, wrong place, wrong time. Again, I don't know. I didn't see much about that situation other than like a tweet. So I don't know. Chiefs have had a couple arrests the past few months.
Yeah, I mean, they're also, they're riding a high horse. They just went to 2 Super Bowls, won one of them. It's a lot. But honestly, I wouldn't have talked about any of these things individually. It's just the fact that it happened.
They all happen at once is weird.
On the same day, and like around the same time, I got all these notifications too.
The rule of threes.
It is. And so this is where I'm going to go into, I might lose some people here, but I have to talk about it because I've been thinking about it for like 3 days. So Mercury is in retrograde, or Mercury is in Gatorade or microwave or whatever you want to say. It's a real thing. And I had to like literally like I was like, I wonder if Mercury is in retrograde. It totally is. And it means that everybody just loses their goddamn minds. And it's a real thing. If anybody's been driving around recently and you want to scream at every single person that does something wrong in their car, that's why. It's just the way that the world works. So basically, I really genuinely think that this also, okay, so if anybody doesn't know what that means, it basically means that Mercury has gone around the sun and then it starts to slow down and then it looks like the planet's rotating backwards and it just freaks everybody out. So I really think that this has just affected a lot of people in a lot of different places, and that Mercury being in Gatorade has literally created all of these crazy things going on in the NFL offseason. And now it is just like pushed it up to 10 to add all these other different factors and everything into it. And it's just, I literally have been thinking about this for so many days. I'm like, this has to be real. It has to be real. And I might lose people there. Andy, I might have lost you in that spiel there, but
no, I'm still here.
Thank you. But I'm like, I'm totally like into like all that astrological stuff. But yeah.
What's your sign?
I'm a Cancer.
I'm a Scorpio.
You're a Scorpio?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Do you know any of your other stuff? Like your rising sign and your moon sign?
Oh no, not off the top of my head. Sorry. No,
okay.
I'm a guy.
That totally makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm a Cancer, I'm a rising Capricorn, and my moon sign is a Taurus, which is why I come off really
able to tell you that.
totally fine. I just know these things. My grandma does like all like she gave me my natal chart and it's got like all the stuff on it. So like I know all this stuff. But basically it's like why I come off so forceful. Like I'm very hard-headed and everything. But like when you get to know me and you put me in a very hard situation, I just cry. And it just makes all the sense. So without, again, boring everybody, I just had to talk about that because it is out of this world, literally. The fact that all of those things came like one after the other on my Bleacher Report app. And I was like, this is not a coincidence. And like you said, rule of threes, it is with everything. Every time like a celebrity dies, I'm like, there's two more coming. And it always happens. It just always happens.
Oh, God. Yeah, you're in relationships. You might think this is funny. Well, circumstances are not funny. Like about a month ago or a month and a half, 2 months maybe. Unfortunately, one of my friends from high school, her boyfriend suddenly passed.
Oh no!
Within the same week, another one of our like long couple friends broke up, and then like a couple days later, another one of our couple friends, he like the boyfriend just like completely left. So that sent Kaylin into a spiral, thinking like I'm going. Like, so my joke was like, she thinks I'm either gonna die, I'm cheating on her, or I'm leaving. So
Mercury is in microwave.
It is. It's in retrograde. It's in retrograde.
Wow, I would have literally been in the same thing though. I would have been like, oh my God, my boyfriend's gonna leave me.
Just someone who's like, you're okay, right? Like we're it's like, and I'm not trying to make light of that situation because it was so fucking terrible.
No, that is so sad, but
so sad. But it was just like
the idea is
it's the rule of threes. But it was literally that was my first thought. It's like, am I like okay? Like, am I gonna die? Like,
Andy's like out, like making sure everything is like okay. That is hilarious. Not hilarious that somebody passed away.
No. We know what's funny about the situation. We know what
you guys get it.
That sounds bad too, but God damn it, you get it.
You get it. It's fine. All right. So I will stop boring you guys with Mercury being in retrograde, but keep an eye out. I have been on a rampage driving. I've been like, everybody got to get out of my way or I will run everyone over. And that is why. That is the reason. Okay. We're moving on. We're moving on to something I'm very excited to talk about, actually. It's our tweet of the week. And our tweet of the week this week is a Dan Orlovsky tweet. And
never be a good thing.
So if you guys don't follow Dan, or which I actually don't follow him, I actually saw this somewhere else, but he literally just spews garbage out of his mouth, and he just kind of throws things to the wall and sees what sticks. So he puts out this tweet, and it says, "Potato chips are gross. Tortilla chips are everything. Also, if you scoop salsa instead of dipping it, you're gross. You scoop queso and guacamole." I have so many feelings. I literally saw this. I was like, this is one of the worst takes of all time. All time. Everything. Horrible take. What are your thoughts?
I'm chip positive. I like potato chips. I like tortilla chips.
Chip positive.
See, I'm not a big salsa or guac guy, so I can't really talk about that. But in terms of that, like dipping.
What about queso?
I mean,
it's literally just melted cheese.
I know it's just melted cheese, but you're gonna hate me for saying this. I am not the biggest cheese guy. So
we cannot be friends anymore. I'm sorry.
I know. I don't hate cheese, but it's just I don't need it on everything. But here's my thing. Like if you scoop, what's the fucking difference? Like scooping or dipping? Like it's like
okay. There's a big difference.
Okay. I know the difference, but it's still like there's still going to be shit on the chip either way. So it's just like, or how much shit do you want on the chip? Like who cares? My favorite response to this though on Twitter is a lot of rules for a guy that ran out of the back of the end zone. That's an A1 response right there.
The thing is that okay. So if you don't eat salsa, like I guess that kind of makes sense. But like if you scoop salsa, they literally make chips for this now. It's
scoops.
You scoop to get all the stuff. You get the onion. To be honest, I'm not big on onions. I don't really like onions like that, but I like everything else in the salsa. So there's like peppers in there. There's all these spices, whatever. But like when you're a little kid, at least in my mind, you like dip into salsa because you just want the red stuff. You don't want anything else. So that's how you dip. And then when you're an adult, like you're a real person, you scoop because you get all the extra goodness into it. And that's how you eat a chip. Second of all, potato chips are not gross. Potato chips are fantastic. And I don't know why he like is like all of a sudden coming at potato chips. Tortilla chips, I know, he said that they're great and they are. But why are we hating on potato chips? For no reason.
It's like there's so many different ways you could go with a potato chip. So many different flavors. You're telling me you hate every flavor of potato chips, Dan?
God dang it, Dan.
And like, is this like he's known for his fucking shitty football takes or wanting to be the one on ESPN that wears his big glasses and wears sneakers with his sport coat and his khakis, and it just spits out terrible football takes. But this is another one. I just don't get it because I love tortilla chips, even if I don't dip them in anything. And I love potato chips, even if I don't dip them in anything. It's just like, I mean, are they my go-to like snack? Probably not. Like,
but if they're at the table, you're not gonna
like. I'm gonna eat the fuck out of them. Like, I'm gonna eat them till I'm like almost don't even want my tacos or quesadilla or whatever I'm getting at the Mexican restaurant.
Right. It's just honestly like. I think that he's just being a baby and he just doesn't want all the extra stuff that's in salsa because that's what little kids do.
He doesn't like pico. That's what it is. Yeah, he doesn't like you said.
And that's the best kind of salsa. It's pico de gallo. That is the best type of salsa. Queso, fantastic. Queso's got other stuff in it too, but I guess maybe he can like scoop around it. I don't know. Maybe Dan's like a picky eater. I don't know.
Shit, I'm a picky eater, so I cannot talk shit.
I can't believe you don't like cheese.
I don't like pizza's like my favorite food. So like I love cheese. I guess when I say I love melted cheese, I don't dislike queso. I just don't. Sometimes I just want to eat the chip. Sometimes I just don't need a dip, Sam.
That's fine. That's totally fine. That's so fair. I'm just like it's okay. Okay, what?
What? The next time I go to a Mexican restaurant or the next time I have chips in front of me, I will use queso and I will send you a picture or a video.
Thank you.
I
appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wait, do you like guacamole though?
Not an avocado guy. No.
You're killing me, Smalls.
I know, dude. This is
Killing
terrible. You might just want to end this now while we're ahead.
I'm Spanish too. Like this is this is
I know.
just like
You're just fucking killing me. Or like I'm killing you.
where are your spice levels at?
Oh,
You like spicy or not spicy?
I can do like a little bit of spicy.
Okay.
So like,
it's like mild.
yeah. Like
Can
I
you go
love
up to like medium?
I had mild wings for lunch actually. I can do medium, but I'm gonna need to take a drink of water just about every other wing. Or like
Okay.
I really like Asian Zing, like from Buffalo Wild Wings. If that's kind of got a kick to it. But no, I'm a pussy. Sam. I'm white as fuck. Okay, like that is where it comes with my intake of spices. But I've worked my way up, so I do love me some mild buffalo sauce for sure.
Okay. That's fine then. That's good. All right. So overall, either way, Dan is wrong.
Either way, he's a stooge and he's a clown. And
potato chips are not gross. Also, like, have you ever had like sour cream and onion chips? Those are potato chips. Those are like my favorite chips ever. Like
barbecue chips. You're telling me you don't like a good fucking barbecue chip?
Barbecue chips are stellar. They're so good.
Telling me you don't like a good chili cheese Frito? Oh, that's probably actually a tortilla. God damn it. No.
Well,
I think technically
like
it would be a tortilla.
Yeah. Doritos are tortilla chips.
Now, okay, this is just going to turn into a classic chip podcast.
Chip.
So
what is your favorite chips?
I think barbecue baked Lays. I think those are just like a
baked Lays.
Baked Lays. If you have never had baked Lays, they are fucking
those all the time.
Gas, Sam. Kettle chips are really good. I like a good salt.
Oh, so you like the sweeter ones?
Oh yeah, I like a good salt and vinegar kettle chip. A classic original Pringle. I think those are good. Fucking Tostitos, like tortilla chips. What is it? On the border.
Ever had hint of lime?
Yes, those are good. I do like the hint of lime. The on the border chips I think are underrated. Ooh. The Mission chips are good. I'm just naming different brands of tortilla chips. What else? Ruffle. I don't mind a good Ruffle.
Love sour cream and onion Ruffles are like my favorite things.
Chili cheese Fritos I think are super underrated.
I've never had those.
Oh, you should try yourself some chili cheese Frito, and especially you never had a walking taco?
I have no idea what that is.
Oh, okay. You're not from the Midwest, so
not even close.
They do it at like baseball concession games where it's basically just they open up a bag of Fritos. It could be regular or it could be Doritos, any type of like chip like that. And you basically cover it in meat, cheese, lettuce, whatever. Like it's a taco in a bag that you eat with a fork with the chips. It's a walking taco. I guess I should have known that should be a fucking Midwest.
Excuse me, I'm booking myself a flight to the Midwest. That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
It sounds so good. Okay, wait, but more question. What's your favorite Dorito flavor?
Oh, probably just nacho cheese.
Okay.
Probably just nacho cheese, to be honest.
Not a cheese guy, but a nacho cheese guy.
Well,
you are complicated.
I'm very complicated. It's just you don't even want to even get started on this. I can't even explain to you my like cheese consumption. So like if it's like, okay, I love chicken parm. I love mozzie sticks, like pizza. If I'm going to get a cheeseburger, I would prefer it be like a white cheese. I think that's what it is. I like white cheese more than I like yellow cheese. If that
doesn't it taste the same?
Not to me, no.
Okay. They're both American cheese.
You're ruining everything, Sam. I'm just kidding. So I'm fucking complicated. I've been a picky eater since I was a little kid, and I'm like slowly growing out of it. I like venture out into different things. Like the other day, I went to Wendy's and I ordered a burger, not a cheeseburger. They gave me cheese. I battled through it and I ate the whole thing. So I'm not telling you that I won't eat a cheeseburger. I just prefer it with no cheese sometimes. God damn it. And I get crucified for it, Sam.
You battled through a cheeseburger.
I battled through it. I was starving. I just got off a shift. You know, sometimes you got to show mental toughness. Okay.
Oh my God. That is the funniest thing I've heard all day.
Bacon cheeseburger from Wendy's. It actually ended up being pretty good.
Oh my God, that is incredible. Well, I'm a Cool Ranch Doritos girl.
I mean, see, I
Live and
don't
breathe.
I don't like ranch. That's the thing. I'm just it.
All right, that's enough. Goodbye,
everybody.
everybody.
It smells like glue, and it tastes like it too.
Tell me you dip your wings in blue cheese.
No.
Okay.
Why would I touch that? Ugh, I don't need either of them. I need a nice.
You don't dip your wings in anything?
You want to okay, so I'm a dry rub on the wing guy.
All right.
So I love a good like lemon pepper wing, and then I'll dip those in honey. I'll do both honey barbecue and mild. A little shout out to Hank Lockwood, little barbecue sauce. Try that if you've never had it before. Or like I like a classic like a buffalo dry rub or chipotle. I like rubs. I like it dry. Or I don't hate a sauce, but sometimes I don't love like the whole messiness of it. You know, I like to.
Okay, that's fair.
Just not a ranch or blue cheese guy. I'd rather dip it in a barbecue sauce or like a mild sauce myself.
Okay, that makes sense though, because if you don't have anything on the wing, you dip it in the sauce. So I get it.
I mean, I do like my favorite sauces would probably definitely barbecue mild. I like a nice Asian like chili sauce or whatever.
Right.
What else? Yeah, and then like I said, just those like different dry rubs. Cajun. I like a good Cajun rub. Lemon pepper, salt and vinegar, buffalo. This has just turned into me just naming different like foods and the few things I do like to eat.
Well, the thing is, okay, so I hate blue cheese. I think blue cheese
so disgusting.
It's just liquid mold. It's really gross. My boyfriend loves blue cheese, and it makes me want to throw up.
Michael, what are you doing?
He loves.
Kaylin likes gross shit too. I always give her shit. I think she likes blue cheese. I don't know if she would like. She might like blue cheese crumbles. I don't know if she likes the actual like.
Don't like those either. Those
I don't fucking know. I don't. She eats shit.
No. My boyfriend gets buffalo chicken pizza like all the time, and it's. The buffalo chicken is good, but they blob blue cheese on top of it, and it literally.
See, that's where you lose me.
No, it's not good. I don't like it, but I like ranch. Ranch is good. Ranch is happiness. I'm big fan of ranch. Cool Ranch, Doritos, everything. Thousand Island. It's all good. It's all good stuff. I used to like not eat anything other than like salad and ranch for like a long time. And I would like dip my lettuce in the ranch. Because I wanted I wanted an equal portion of dressing to lettuce. So I had to dip it, and like my whole family was like, "Oh my God, she's never gonna grow out of this." And then anyway, we don't need to delve into my childhood there. But yeah, chips are good.
Chips. Fuck you, Dan.
You know what, Dan, just horrible all around, and look what you made us do. Now Andy and I have a sever in our relationship because we talk too much about chips and cheese.
Whatever.
And ranch.
Maybe, well, I mean, you said maybe I just haven't had a good queso dip. I need to come to your
Have you ever had Chipotle queso?
See, the 2 or 3 times I've had Chipotle, it gave me the shits. So
That's what it does.
I don't eat there anymore. As the great Tyler O'Day from Barstool Sports says, ban Chipotle.
No,
I'm just,
Chipotle.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm turned off by a place that gives me diarrhea. whenever I
you eat Taco Bell?
Not often.
Okay, I've never eaten Taco Bell before, but I know that
you've never had Taco Bell.
My family would disown me if I ever ate Taco Bell.
You gotta go to Taco Bell for a Baja Blast alone.
Okay, I would drink a Baja Blast. I've tried a Baja Blast. I've never like had my own, but like if someone had it, I'd like had taken a sip of it. But I don't think I've ever even stepped foot in a Taco Bell.
See, the thing about Taco Bell,
I don't know if we have a Taco Bell here on Staten Island.
Like the thing about Taco Bell is like it's just like shitty fast food, but it's like consistent, so like you know what you're getting every time. Whereas like I feel like if you go to McDonald's, like you gotta hope like you're getting fresh and you're not just getting shit off the line. Whereas like if you go to Taco Bell, it's pretty much uniform. It's gonna taste just about the same every time you go there.
Well, I haven't eaten fast food since I was a sophomore in high school, so I just
throw it in my face, Sam. Jesus Christ.
I helped my friend write a paper on it, and I've never gone back. I can't. It's
good
just
for
hurts
you.
my soul.
I haven't drank a soda in a couple months, but you don't see me bragging about it.
That's okay.
I'm just kidding.
All right.
I'm actually very jealous of you for that. That is really impressive.
I mean, I've eaten like a French fry or two over the years, but no, I don't eat that meat or chicken nuggets anymore, even though they do smell really good.
Oh my God, I know.
I can't. I'm like, and then I think about it and I'm like, nope, can't do it. But
I just have no self-control either. And I also, working in the industry I do, I get off late at night sometimes fucking fast food is the only thing that is
that's
open.
fair.
So I'm like,
that's totally fine. I'm not judging.
Fuck it. But I have found myself, I definitely eat more chicken recently than I do like red meat, which is nice.
Yeah, red meat is so bad for you. It's so delicious, but it's so bad for you.
It's so good. I love myself a nice steak. I could fuck up a steak.
Steak yesterday.
Yeah, it's the girl who talks food, I guess, is this podcast.
Yeah, we're gonna that's gonna be the title of this
I'm gonna stop talking about food and let you
all right
retake over your show.
Thank God I ate dinner before this, otherwise
me too. I shoved some leftover pizza from last night in my face before we got on this call.
Well, those are like our main topics for today. However, I do always end off my show with a feel-good story of the week, and this week our feel-good story of the week is really quite awesome. It is June, it is Pride Month. Carl Nassib has come out as gay. He's the first active NFL player to be openly gay in the NFL. There's been people in the past who have come out after they've retired from the NFL. There was Michael Sam, who was the first drafted player into the league, but he didn't really do anything. But besides the fact, he's kind of made history. People have been buying his jersey left and right, which is like really wholesome. And he's donated money to the Trevor Project, which is to help young LGBTQ plus people in their life. So I thought that was really quite lovely.
Yeah. I just have one word, and that is raid. That is for my good friend Trey Smith, who's a big Raiders fan. But no, this is awesome. Carl Nassib, he's been in the league now for a few years. Yeah. Really had a great stretch of years with Tampa Bay a couple years ago before he did get out to Las Vegas. I think he had like 6.5 sacks in a couple years ago in a season. So he's a solid player. Be happy. Like, that's the moral of the story. Like, if you're be comfortable with yourself. Very excited with the response he's gotten from other dudes around the league. By all accounts, it sounds like everybody in the locker room, the front office, the Raiders are doing everything they can to make him feel comfortable and make him feel accepted. And he's not the first gay person to play.
He's just, definitely
NFL, but
it's good for the atmosphere of the league.
It is momentous because he's the first one to have the courage while he is playing on an active contract. I will say something funny about this situation. I don't know if you saw the contract or the screenshot of the shit they had on the screen on Sports Center where they said he's the Carl Nassib first actively gay player in the NFL, which is like, I don't think that's what that is. You guys are trying, but I don't think that's right.
You know what? When I wrote like it down on my paper here, I literally wrote first actively gay, and I went, oh my God, that's not right. So I went, oh my God, I did that because I saw that stupid thing on
objectively like hilarious headline though.
They were trying to be like so like serious about it, which is like totally fine. But I literally wrote, like, you could see I wrote active and I like scribbled out the LY because I wrote actively gay, and I was like, that's not correct. So, but I'm super, super excited about this. I feel like he's going to kind of be like a person for the rest of the league to kind of look up to. And hopefully there are going to be more guys in the league that feel comfortable if they are gay to come out and be a little bit more open with themselves. Like, shout out to like Michael Sam, though. He kind of was like the first to like pioneer it a little bit. He was in the league. He just didn't really play. So.
Yeah. And, there's always the stereotypes. Oh, you play football, you're this big athlete. Like, how could you be
Right.
You could be gay
So
or whatever.
ridiculous.
And I don't want to sound like I'm making a joke or being an asshole here, but when I like saw a picture of Nasib's like face, I was like, I can kind of see it. He's a good looking dude. He looked like he takes care of himself. He has nice teeth. He had nice hair. I'm not saying every gay person has that. But I was like, you know what? I don't want to say it makes sense because I don't fucking know the guy at all. But I was like, this didn't like shock me, or I was just, it shouldn't shock you because there are people of the LGBTQ plus. I don't know if did I say it? Yeah, look at me. Community everywhere, and they deserve to be equal. They are humans. They are the same, no matter if they're trans, no matter if they're gay, no matter if they're bi, no matter if they're straight, no matter what. Yep. We're all just fucking humans. We're all walking around. No reason why he shouldn't be allowed to happy and be his true self while playing the game that he loves. Like, that's awesome. All the power to you. I hope for a lot of support. I hope for a lot of support. And I'm just saying, good looking dude in Vegas. I think he's about to clean up.
He's going to do well for himself. I actually,
that club in the end zone
popping though.
Is gonna be popping.
Oh my god, that club in the end zone thing is so funny. So
as if it's not just gonna be a bunch of 60-year-old dudes that are
bottle servicing
Fortune 500 companies that are out for the weekend in Vegas. That is gonna be an interesting aspect.
It is.
With it being in Vegas, like how much is it gonna be like corporate, like getaways, boxes, suites, and all that stuff? Versus actual, Raiders fans that give a shit, because that's a thing that's been happening, not just in professional sports and now in like major college sports as well. They're pricing out the real fans and making it like almost to the point where it's too expensive, where you can't afford a ticket. Like, God, like I'm sure like let's say like a Giants, if they were to play the Jets or something, I'm sure that would be like a $300-$400 ticket for like an upper bowl. And then God forbid a Bears Packers game. Oh my God. Like, go look at those tickets if you want to cry and think about how
they are. Yeah. It's like your firstborn child, and your left pinky, and that's going to be the price of your admission.
Well, sorry, Carson. Daddy's got to go see the Bears play.
Justin Fields is waiting for me.
Justin Fields' first start. We can't miss that.
Oh my God, that's so funny. But yeah, no, the thought that I just had in my brain was the amount of bachelor parties that are going to be in the end zone of the greatest.
Even I think bachelorette parties too. You're going to see some fucking flying penises around there or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know what this is supposed to be. Like maybe a hat or something, or like they always have like the little straw with the penis on there.
Listen, I'm the maid of honor for one of my best friends right now, so I have to plan the bachelorette party, so we'll see what happens. Nobody else in my friend group likes football though, so
yeah, everyone said we're going to the Giants game.
Yeah, we're going to Vegas. What are we doing in Vegas? We're going to a Raiders game.
Yeah,
they'd be like, "What? No, we're not. No." They'd cut me off. I'd be like,
go to the pool bar and be like, all right.
No, I'm gonna be in the black hole and getting bottle service.
Middle of it.
Getting Derek Carr's gonna overthrow a ball and it's gonna smack me in the head.
He's a Raider for life. Derek Carr.
He's a Raider for life. Anyway, so that is our show for this week. Andy, I really appreciate you coming on and shooting the shit, as we said. I'm real stoked about it. Why don't you plug your podcast? Let everybody know what's going on, where they can find you, all that good stuff.
So first, I'll say thank you so much for having me. I always love coming on this show and shooting the shit, as we have said, with you. I do hope you still like me after this recording is over.
Yeah, we're good.
And still be friends after my horrible food takes that I had earlier. But yeah, so I'm the host of the Brew Party podcast. If you haven't heard of me before, I'm Andy Hopper. So I am just some dude from the middle of Illinois. I like to drink beer and I like to talk about sports. I just dropped a brand new episode actually today with our friend Hank and Dictor from review
Nice.
and preview sports. Review and preview sports. He's the host of Hitting for the Cycle, their baseball podcast over there. And we talked about a little bit of what me and Sam talked about earlier, the sticky situation in in Major League Baseball, but it just a whole podcast of it, really kind of a little bit more in depth than Sam and I went on it, probably about 40 minutes of it. And then the back half, last 20 minutes, I let Hank kind of rant about the Yankees.
Nice.
He listened to me bitch about the Cardinals, a lot of good stuff. So I drop one episode every week. I know I need a consistent day where I drop, but normally it's Wednesdays. Sometimes it's Mondays. Sometimes it's Fridays. It just kind of depends. My work schedule has been kind of weird right now. We've had a lot of turnover, so I've been working more hours, haven't had as much time, but we're still there. We're still partying. So you can find us on Facebook at the Brew Party Podcast. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter at the Brew Party. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/the Brew Party. So go ahead and subscribe to us there. And then if you guys could do me a favor, leave us a like, a rating, and a review on Apple Podcasts, trying to get up to 100 total reviews. And I have a very special guest planned for that. So if you like sports, if you like gambling, when football comes back, my friend Ryan Maloney will be back on the show, and we'll do our weekly gambling show. Yeah. I'm mad. I'm sad. I'm disappointed. So I mean, I do interviews. It's kind of like the start of my shows are kind of similar to Sam, where I don't really do specific segments, but I kind of do an update about what kind of sports are going on each week. Like throughout the whole NBA playoffs, like I'll do a 15-minute segment on what's kind of going on with that. And then I'll jump into my interview. I've interviewed athletes. I've interviewed other podcasters. Sam's been on my show multiple times, bloggers, musicians, reality TV stars, just so many cool people that I've been able to meet. And it's been incredible. So come join the party, the Brew Party Podcast. We'd love to have you. Hoping for more big guests. We got more, stuff. I don't have an episode planned for next week. I got to figure out what I'm doing, but weekly episodes. We're good on Twitter. We try to drop some memes. We try to, just have a good time. I don't take myself seriously, as I'm sure you guys could see from this little conversation I had with Sam. And I like to talk to people that actually do know what they're talking about and kind of can inform me. But yeah, it's been a wild ride, 66 episodes in. So episode 66, let me hear what you think about this title, if you get the joke. Episode 66, spider. And then in parentheses, it says tack. Featuring Hank and Dictor, out now wherever you get your podcasts, or on YouTube, www.thebrewparty.com. You can find all of that stuff. And then I'm now on Buy Me a Coffee. So you can support the show, send me $5, buy me a beer, and I will give you a shout out for your specific beer that you buy me. So I believe one person's done it already. So my first beer on my next show is officially the Tone Gordon Busch Light. So if you would like to be an official beer of the Brew Party Podcast, or support the show, sponsor, help me out any way that you can. I mean, don't feel like you have to at all. I just thought, who couldn't use a couple extra dollars in their pocket, and maybe help me upgrade my equipment or something, or pretend that by equipment, I don't just mean another 30 rack of beer. So Sam, thank you so much. I'm done rambling. This has been an absolute blast. Seriously, whenever you need a backup guest, I'm here. I'm your man off the bench.
You sure are. And I appreciate you coming on. This was a great conversation. Everybody, guys, don't forget to follow us on social media at Twitter, TGWTS Podcast, on Instagram at The Girl Who Talks Sports. And we're also on TikTok now. I am getting super active on there, so that's a blast. Also at The Girl Who Talks Sports. Don't forget to subscribe to us on all podcasting platforms, and leave a review as well. I can't even remember what I'm trying to say here.
Oh, I do that all the time, where I'm just like, what else do I want to say? Because it's right before I hit record, I'm like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this.
Yeah, and then
as soon as I'm done, I'm like, I didn't say any of that shit.
Nope, but Yeah, don't forget to subscribe on all podcasting platforms, wherever it is that you get your podcast from. Leave a review and follow us or subscribe to our YouTube channel at The Girl Who Talks Sports and press the little bell to get notified every time I upload a new video. I hope you all have a fun, fantastic sports field day, and I will see you guys all next week. Bye.